Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and I just found out, I think, the origin story for Cotton Eye Joe, and I'm repulsed.
That's not the origin.
Yeah, it can be. Welcome to another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. We have Kenny here. We have Sam here.
So, Sam, a couple things we're supposed to hit. I know
they're sitting right in front of you there.
An adult night.
We got a Science Night Live happening again, June 10th.
Yep.
I went to the last one. It was really fun, but you do need to get those tickets soon because it does sell out every time.
Very, very cool. Do they have another, watch, they're not going to. Do they have another keynote speaker?
They have lots of different speakers and exhibits, so check out osc.org for all that info.
Very cool.
And also they have a dogs exhibit that starts May 27th.
I will be going to that. I love dogs. That's really cool. What do they just kind of walk through the science of our four-legged friends? Something like that?
It's on that sheet right in front of both of you.
Oh, sorry. I was
dogs.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do it off the top of my head here, and I'm staring at you guys for...
You can print a sheet for yourself. That is allowed.
Well, you guys do the promos, not me, but I guess I am now.
Can you bring your dog? Because that would be great. Be like, this is where you came from.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't think
sorry.
so.
I didn't see it. I was just having a conversation.
I think you can bring your dog. That's a lie.
Absolutely.
I would bet you
I'm
can.
going to guess you absolutely
Unless
cannot do
it's
that.
a service dog.
And they do not want you to do that, I would imagine.
You know, it's funny. I was walking out of the studio the other day, and there's a lady that was walking her dog, and it jumped at me as I was just walking down the sidewalk. And she was like, "Whoa!" You know. And
Was
then
it here? Was it the big dogs upstairs?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then I jump back, and then I'm like, "Oh, sorry." I apologize. It was my fault.
But I think a lot of people do that. I think if you are
I just walked out of my business and to take a left, and then the dog jumped at me, and then I took a step back. I was like, "Oh, sorry." But I'm like, "Why did you apologize, you P word?"
No, that's a normal thing to do. I do that too. I'll be going into like 7-Eleven or something to get something. Somebody will run into me, and I'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry." Yeah, I think it's a normal thing to do.
Well, yeah, running into someone, but if you're walking a dog and it lunges at someone walking down the sidewalk, and the person's like, "Whoa!" And,
Did you say it as her? Did you go, "I'm sorry"?
No.
Okay.
It was my instinct.
That would have been funny too.
It's always my instinct to apologize, just because I believe it's my fault.
Well, because I think you figure if I didn't exist, these dogs would not have lunged away and caused her inconvenience or embarrassment.
And the thing is,
It was your good looks that caused the dog to lunge.
I'm not even sorry. That's the thing. Like, I'm mad at the lady for having an undisciplined dog that lunges at strangers down the sidewalk.
Well, you just said it because you felt like you needed to say it, right? I think I would have done it too.
My son Tommy's like that, too polite. I need to get that out of him. Like, he's too apologetic, too polite, and I've always been that way my entire life too, where my first instinct is just to say sorry, but
that stops today.
Well, it hinders your life. I'd be like, "Hey, keep control of your dog, lady." Like, I should have been like, "Hey, if your dog lunges at people on the sidewalk, you got to walk it somewhere else."
Exactly. You can't run with a big dog. Stay on the porch.
That's a Trav move.
I know. I need to be more like Travis and just tell people, because
it can extend the conversation, though, which is something that Tom's not prepared for. Sometimes when you extend the conversation, it'll keep going.
No, just walk away. Just be like, "Hey, keep your control of your dog," and just walk away. Okay. I need to be more of a D-head.
Just start booing. Just be like, "Boo."
I don't even know if that's a D-head, though, because she's the D-head, right?
I think it's pretty reasonable to be afraid of if a dog lunges at you and you're like, "Whoa, hey, man."
Well, how
about just a "hey, man"? Because what if she did? I mean, the dog's big. She's an older lady, so it gets at you.
Feel like a P word just by
I'm sorry.
Just be like,
"I'm so sorry."
It didn't expect it.
Should have lunged back at it, right?
Oh, canine attack.
Anyway, how you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing well. It was weird. I had to cancel a couple days ago. I had pharyngitis, which doesn't make. I don't know what it is. It was just a weird
just sore throat. Right?
It was a weird sore throat.
Pharyngitis.
Yes,
what
indeed.
does that mean?
And I couldn't talk, and you guys could probably hear like the remnants of it now. But it's a weird segue because that actually leads into. I know you guys talked about artificial intelligence when it comes to artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to creep you out, Sam. You're going to be real creeped out.
Would you do some kind of deep fake of me or something?
She loves it when men tell her, hey, wait for. You're going to be so creeped out.
So I did
it's her favorite thing.
I did a show in Nashville that was about artificial intelligence, and they wanted to do some AI voiceover. So they wanted to do celebrity voiceovers, but that were generated by artificial intelligence. So I was able to find a program that was able to take, because we were in Nashville, they wanted Dolly Parton, and they wanted Johnny Cash. because he's dead, which is very weird.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Do you have to get permission to use the...
That's where it gets a little dicey.
Exactly. I don't know, because technically... yes and no at the same time.
This is the same weird gray area of the internet back in the day. You know, like, it's kind of no one, like, I mean, they're going to start locking everything down.
Because it was an internal meeting, I think they thought, well, wait a minute, they're never going to know.
Yeah, you're not using it for...
Exactly.
You're demonstrating the capabilities, you're not selling it.
But we're manipulating their voice in order to say things that they would never have normally said. Yeah. Now, the program does restrict curse words, so you can't have them say, like, blatant, vulgar or racist things.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I like pegging.
You could probably actually say that. That's what's funny.
You can say that one?
Because that's technically clean. But I sent some samples to Dan for a couple of them, and the very first one is...
hello message?
Yeah, the hello message.
Okay, let me get this ready to go. Do you want me to just hit play on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the hello message.
Well, howdy, Tom, Dan, and Sam. This is Dolly Parton. Kenny wants to let you know, eat his butt.
And this is Johnny Cash. This message also applies to every BDM. Eat Kenny's butt.
I'll say the Johnny Cash one was pretty good, but the Dolly was a little
I thought the Dolly
robotic.
Was pretty good. Well,
so,
you can hear the breaks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
The technology
Kenny, this is the best thing you've ever done for us.
Technology is not 100% there yet, because you do have to upload like hours and hours of audio
this is
files.
The thing I wanted to buy. And you gave me the go-ahead. I filed I saw the company that you're talking about, and I entered everything to allow Tom and I to read. I guess we would have to read an hour's worth of...
It's a whole lot. And it has to be isolated. So with Dolly Parton, I had to find a bunch of interviews with her. But if anyone else is talking, I had to clip them out, because otherwise it would confuse that voice with Dolly Parton's voice. And there couldn't be any like background music. So it's a lot. It was a lot of work.
So it's just like Midjourney or the artistic or graphic design AI in the fact that if there's any, I guess, noise, for lack of a better term, in the background, it'll grab onto that, and that'll distort the file, distort whatever they're trying to mimic.
Yeah.
Daniel sent me an article about like AI podcasts.
Yeah, you're right on. It's almost like you're in our group chat,
and then,
we were just reading about this.
And then they made an AI. Some AI guy made an AI interview between Joe Rogan and him, and it's completely AI. And it's on
YouTube.
It was made by ChatGPT. I listened to it, and they're right. It's like you could tell. Especially if you know. Now, I played it for Crystal. I was like, hey, listen to this. And then as she listened to it for a couple minutes. I think she was listening to what they were saying.
Another podcast.
And then after about a minute and a half, she was like, what is this? Is this, it's like, is this chat, like, is this AI? Or and then I was like, yes, like, this is an AI podcast between two people completely made by AI using Joe Rogan's voice and then the voice of this AI creator. And then essentially.
Yeah, I think it was the creator of ChatGPT.
They're basically, I
think it was both of them. It was a sort of a forged interview.
And then apparently there are AI podcasts, and the way it was described.
There's AI Twitch. I was watching AI Jesus this morning, who was taking questions and then applying Bible verses to it. When I was setting up the studio. It's creepy.
Oh, that's very weird.
And they were saying that like there's a tech podcast. It's like a daily tech podcast. It's completely AI with a AI generated voice. That. And they said for information podcasts, if someone just wants to find like the new information coming out, if it's just informative, then people like it. But if it has anything to do with conversations, like it's obvious, it's apparent that it's AI and that it's meaningless. It's a nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's no like. There's no entertainment value between conversational AI, but informational AI there is. And I started thinking about like there's a lot of podcasts where it just involve. I mean, think about it. The weather, when you yell at Alexa to read you the weather of the day, it's just a robot voice reading you the weather, and people are fine with that.
It's a very simple version of what we've already. Yeah,
I don't need a human doing that. I just want to know the facts.
I think that's kind of how I've been looking at it, and maybe why I like it. The idea of it a little more than some people, and I think if you're creative, it's interesting to see what it will create, and you can compare that to what you want to create. I like using. A lot of people will go in there and use the prompts of these type of AI systems to really dial down what they want it to be. I find that it's more fun for me as a creative to put something in there very vague and see where it goes, because it might take me in a different area. So I don't know. It's a weird tool.
Well, with this
so
one,
what else did you have here?
So,
what are these other ones we
They
got
wanted
here?
like very specific VOs, and track number 2. So it is just a computer. So every once in a while, even though it's English and it's trying to read it, it will still like malfunction like a robot. So this is me trying to do the "Hey Tom, Dan, and Sam," and it just completely botches some of the letters. So you can play it and hear how it malfunctions.
Well, howdy, Tom, Dan, and Sam. This is Dolly Parton, and not you know to eat but
To EH2E, it sounded like it sounded like she'd had a couple of little sippy sip.
It's not perfect, and even in that Rogan the Chat GPT guys interview, they said they had to edit it out, like edit the whole thing to make it sound a little more normal. So it took a lot of post production for even it to get where it is. But where it is pretty insane.
He said days of editing in the article.
But,
the thing
when
is,
you listen to it, I mean, if someone didn't know, it would take a while to figure out this wasn't Joe Rogan talking to this guy, and this was completely generated by a computer.
Well, in that sentence that you just did, you emphasized certain words, you paused on certain things, and you ended it. And that's where the AI voiceovers haven't gotten yet, because as I was editing and constantly having them do take after take, it would put weird inflections on different words, so it didn't sound natural. You know what I mean? Like, you had to constantly do a bunch of editing in order to get them to say the right thing in the right way.
Now, Daniel, when he was talking to me about this, because Daniel's right, you could do this and submit something, and you have to read an hour-long script.
I'm just trying to shoot for the future, man. I'm like, we got to get out of here, because this guy's got the finish line he's looking at, and we got to have these robots doing the show for us every day, so we can be, like, hanging with our family.
And maybe when you submit the script, because when you're using a celebrity's voice and you're handpicking things, like, it can't be as dialed in as you submitting, because then you can have inflections on certain words, and it
you
be
can go
more
in there and
dialed in.
manually change it too. Which is, I've had some really rudimentary programs that I've used for just projects that I'm doing in here, where you can go in and I can adjust the syllable real time to, let's take something you say that, like, Disney. I can go in there and make it Disney instead of Disney, because it's going to want to go Disney, but everybody knows that you say Disney, so I can go in there and manually change that so it'll sound exactly the way I want it to be.
Especially if you're trying to do people's names, like if you want to have them pronounce a name, you have to phonetically spell it out, and even then it will butcher it half the time.
It's interesting, although it can't. Maybe in the future it could, but right now it can't actually add any entertainment value between AI making up its own podcast, because it is a nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't have any sort of interesting conversation. Now, it can just give you facts, though, or give you, like...
Sometimes you want that. Sometimes I don't want the people giving me jokes.
Or news of the day and stuff like that. Like, if you listen to a podcast, it's just like...
I would like that.
Pop culture news.
Don't editorialize it. Just give me what happened, and...
But then you're getting into a weird thing where, robotic reading has always been there. It's the generating of what you want it to do. Is the future of it.
The function,
because it's not reading. It's not reading an article. No. It's
creating the article.
It's creating it using information.
And that's the scary part.
But then, where is it getting the information? That's the thing.
From
too.
everywhere.
Like, from everywhere.
Where isn't it getting the information?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
But there's false information.
God, I was just watching that movie.
Yeah. I mean, there is false information out there,
totally.
so it could be telling you, things,
which
that
is
are
what makes it sticky. What are these other?
Yeah, I wanted to do this for good, so I created a little promo for you guys. So track number 3, this is Dolly and Johnny, giving a little help.
Okay, here's track number 3.
Tom wanted to do a bit.
He called it Weird Job Wednesday.
Thank you for that edit.
You called it Weird Job Wednesday.
And so...
That's fantastic.
Now, this is not technically AI, and the fact that... because you're telling it what to say.
True, but how did it know to get Johnny Cash's, because he's dead, how to, you had to use AI to research other tracks of him talking in order
to formulate the sound.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So I did it with you guys.
So you're mining a dead man's voice.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, like I said, normally you have to put like 2 hours worth of audio. There's a way to do it where you could do very quick and dirty. So these won't 100%, but I got you guys' voice.
Okay.
And I had to isolate some things that you guys typically say in order to do it. So I got a couple. The first one is Tom.
And just so people understand this, it's like you just put in certain prompts of our voice, and it is because these words that the AI is saying are not the exact words you put in. Because some people are maybe thinking like
this is not stolen audio; it's creating the audio.
Correct. I uploaded a bunch of podcasts, but I isolated when it's just you guys talking with no other people talking, and then it's using your intonations to formulate words that I want it to say.
It's creating, not replaying.
Yeah,
that's important.
You're not just taking me saying dog and then you're putting like I am the dog.
Exactly.
It would never work.
Yeah, but it was sound.
Yeah, we've all heard like what was his name, Brian, the newscaster, and then Jimmy Fallon would take him saying it and make him sing like rap songs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's taking the exact audio of those words.
That's not what this is.
It's not auto tuning the news or anything.
This is a creational tool.
Learning our voice and then it's being able to replicate the voice. Okay,
so I'm excited about this.
So
crazy.
Now you'll notice it's not 100% because I didn't want to spend too much time. But
it's also thousands of dollars, Kenny. You can't be forking that out of your own pocket. All right, here's Tom. Tom 1.
What's going on, everybody? Drunky the Bear here to tell you about the Two Moves podcast.
That's pretty good,
Sounds like you haven't hit puberty yet.
I hear it, though. No, I hear it. 100% sounds just like him.
What's that? 100%.
Just like him. Oh, my God. I was like, why isn't his mouth moving?
It is a weird
It sounds like
tone.
the way when you know what it made me feel like? It made me feel like you were standing in front of me 20 years ago as an intern. Okay, here.
It's again. I only isolated like a few minutes of you guys talking.
I mean, look, he's putting effort into the bit. EJ just comes in, sits down, and reads a piece of paper.
What's going on, everybody? Drunky the Bear here to tell you about the Two Moves podcast.
I like it. He also sounds a little drunk.
Like can I do another drunk Tom?
Yeah, I did 2 for each of you.
Okay, here's Tom number 2.
Oh no, I'm gonna veto. Abadamp shush. You know what I mean?
I hear it. It sounds exactly like it.
I had your veto in.
It has.
Oh no, I'm gonna veto. Abadamp shush. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's authentic. Abada shush. I've heard you say Abada shush before.
It's pretty close. So, like, I could see someone being tricked by that a little bit.
If I were to upload a lot more audio of you, I could probably refine it a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
if I did the hour-long
we should do it.
Script.
I'm telling you.
You told me it's $2,500.
For each of us.
Yeah, well, we're not doing that.
No, we're going to get a big sponsor to sponsor the future of our show. This is going to be very important for our children.
I can do it cheaper.
You can do it cheaper?
The program I'm using, I think, is a little different than what
I think the program you're using is a little better, too. I think somebody knows what you're using.
All right, so this is Dan. Dan is the one, it sounds like Dan was smoking for years before he he did it.
Okay, here's me.
Daniel with your weather here. And let me just say, I never got tired of doing the buddy voice.
I hear it.
That one sounds more like him.
I hear
Tom's.
it, man.
Yeah,
it's so nasally, just like the authentic Dan.
It does have a lot of elements of your voice, although it's just a tiny bit.
It's a little off. It's just a little off.
Well, like you said, with more input,
it's like
closer.
It's like look at the camera. It's like this is me, and this is what Kenny has. It's like it's a little off, but it's still the essence. Okay, here's me number 2.
I'm also fairly certain my wife and child could run a better business than Tom and I.
Wow, that's insulting.
There's something about it that is like a little off, though.
Yeah. But I hear it. I hear both the
It was like a little too much treble in each of your guys' voices. Now, Sam is the one, it creepily sounded the most like you.
Oh, God, it's because I am a robot.
No, you're not. You're working on things. All right, here's Sam. Sam 1 and 2. Here we go. Here's number 1.
Apparently, I'm a mean old witch who's only here to ruin fun.
Oh, my God.
That's an exact quote.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Now, he just pulled that audio from me saying that last Friday.
Oh my God! All right, here's Sam number 2.
That sounds a lot more like. I wonder if it's able to, like, if for whatever reason, like the female voice, it could do better or something. I don't know.
Unless,
simplistic.
or Sam is enunciating a bit more than you guys do.
That's true.
Yeah.
When I'm reading emails and stuff.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And then this is Sam talking back to me. She didn't want to say what I wanted her to say.
Okay.
Kenny, I'm not going to say what you programmed. That's perverted.
That sounds exactly like me.
That's
all right. I'm done here.
Can you get her to say anything?
You know,
There's another folder. I'll email you later. When we're off the show.
Don't say that.
Apparently, Bill Simmons was talking about this.
That's pretty darn
cool.
cool.
Was talking about using this and the AI voice generation to do commercials.
Yeah.
Because he was like, well, the commercial, this can't do an actual entertaining podcast, but it can do commercials.
Sure.
Although I wonder
ones that need to be straight.
If your advertisers wouldn't want like you using AI to do these commercials, because technically it's not your voice.
But think about like a familiar voice like Morgan Freeman. Yeah. And, when he passes away, why wouldn't his family or estate want to still make money by saying, here, use all of his voiceover work that he's done and formulate AI Morgan Freeman voice so you can continue using it?
Didn't they do that with Carrie Fisher in the last Star Wars, both her image and her voice?
Yeah, I had heard that.
I mean, they did it with Tupac and the holograms and stuff. I mean, they got that from,
Is that a band, Tupac and the holograms?
No. Remember when Tupac's hologram was a big thing and everything? It's all going to be hologram. That didn't work. That didn't happen. No one cared.
Somewhere, the Tupac hologram is sitting in a warehouse.
AI is going to get rid of all of graphic designers.
Yeah, although, God, man, the hologram at a live concert may just not be appealing, but the corporation trying to cut corners and just use AI, I could see that happening. Like, I know corporations are cheap as hell, and if they could get AI to do like art that they otherwise would have paid someone to do it, I feel like they'll just do it the cheapest way.
And you're telling me Visa wouldn't want to just buy Morgan Freeman's voice in perpetuity and just like constantly use that for their commercials for decades and just be, this is the voice of Visa?
It's interesting if they want to do that, considering the fact that most kids won't know who Morgan Freeman is, and I would imagine, and it should, the way that I would imagine, is that the voices of our generations die off as their voices become more prevalent, right? Yeah, but why are we going to keep some dumb old, no offense to Morgan Freeman, but just use a new person's voice?
But you got a decade more, because think about who knows Morgan Freeman. Everybody, in their 20s, even now. Yeah. And so,
so maybe not for decades, but maybe for like the next 5 years after he passes, you can still use them, and that's 5 years of savings.
Although you could use an imposter or like an impersonator.
Oh, there's tons.
That's true.
But I think you have to say, because you can't use someone's voice and then now as long as you say you're not more, like, you can't say you are more.
Why can't you just do the voice and not say anything?
Yeah, that's legal.
He never says his name in the commercials. Yeah, you just recognize the voice.
I would just do the voice. I mean, I hear John Goodman do a lot of voiceovers.
Yeah,
and it freaks me out. Because, I think that he thinks most people don't know his voice, and that's probably true. But I know his voice, and I hear it everywhere, and it drives me insane.
Look what they did with the Affleck duck.
Right.
Like, we all knew that it was Gilbert Gottfried.
Although that's a character. I wonder if there is, we'd have to ask Mo, if you, if someone brought in a Morgan Freeman impersonator and then just started using that impersonator to endorse their products, I wonder if Morgan Freeman's estate or him, if he still, he could sue them and be like, this is obviously my voice you're using to endorse a product. But
couldn't it be like Vanilla Ice? He's like, hey, we changed one little bit of the timbre, of it. It's just a little.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
a little higher.
It's someone.
It's like a C sharp,
but it's not Morgan Freeman's voice. No. It's someone impersonating.
And we've
Morgan
never
Freeman.
said it's Morgan Freeman.
Could someone legally change their name to Morgan Freeman who happens to sound like Morgan Freeman?
It would make sense. You're high right now. You're high right now.
It would be fraud, I think. They've done the. I know this from like some Miami elections down south.
I remember this. The guy that
where you use someone's else's name that's the exact same name as the running mate to run on the same election to split the vote and stuff. If you could prove in some way that you did it for this reason, then it becomes fraud at that point. So if you could prove, I guess it would be up to a jury to prove, like, hey, this company mimicked Morgan Freeman's voice to get away from having to pay him for his endorsement and tricked people. I think it would go up to a jury probably, and the jury would probably be like, "Yeah, that's exactly what you did."
We definitely need to ask that to Mo. Yeah, I think that's a good question.
But on the opposite side of it, I think ESPN did a commercial where they found a guy named Michael Jordan, but it's just some nerdy like white accountant.
Yeah,
and he was telling stories about it's like, every time I would check into a hotel, like they would have like all of the staff go to the front desk, and then I show up and I say I'm Michael Jordan,
Michael Bolton of Office Space.
and then they get all disappointed that it's him.